Hello and welcome back to Apex 33.
We're at Duxford Imperial War Museum for the Spring Alfa event with our Alfa Romeo 33 Sport Wagon.
And we're here to show you all the amazing cars here. So please enjoy the show.
So as we're at the Imperial War Museum, it would be rude not to go inside and see some military vehicles as a contrast to the Italian cars we've got behind us.
Hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll
So the Alfa Romeo Giulia Quadrifoglio, by far the flagship Giulia, 2.9 V6 with 500 horsepower, but this is a GTAm, even more radical. Ceramic brakes, 30 or 40 horsepower and lots of carbon fibre. Although no rear seats that you can use. Definitely a cabin to be jealous of in there. Very limited edition model. One of the most recent owners of one is Valtteri Bottas.
through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow
So we're here with Gary with his Permanent 4. Lovely machine, but it's been through a bit of a story. So Gary, what's brought you to this stage?
Well, I wanted to get another 33 because I had one about nearly 20 years ago. I had just a 16 valve front wheel drive, and it is a fantastic car. And then you move on, things change and whatever. And I decided last year that I wanted to get another. I hadn't really looked at them for years, but I just thought I really love that car. I want another one. So I started looking around, and it was harder than I thought to find a decent one. So
it is, isn't it?
It is. I ended up actually buying a front wheel drive one from a place in London, and I got it home. And on the way home from coming back from there, you actually messaged me and said you'd found a Permanent 4 for sale.
Yeah.
Was I still interested? And well, yeah, it's a Permanent 4. Of course, I'm interested.
And here it is.
And here it is. Yeah. So.
But it wasn't in this state when you got it.
No. So I had to go down to Southampton to someone you knew, and it was in a field. It was his back garden, which. It was a field, basically.
It's a field, yeah.
Yeah.
In the jungle.
And there was all sorts of 33s and Alfasuds and all sorts there. And this one was sat there, brambles growing through it, weeds growing all around it. But it was all there, it was complete, and it didn't look too bad. So we did a deal, and I brought it home. It hadn't been on the road.
Full mechanical overhaul, pretty much,
yeah,
isn't it?
because it hadn't been on the road for sort of, I think, about 5 years, according to the MOTs. It didn't run, but I put a fuel pump on it. I managed to get it running, but not very well. So, took the engine out, stripped it down, had to do some welding underneath, re-undercoated the whole underside, stripped it all back, painted it a lot. All new suspension bushes, new brakes, new fuel lines, brake lines, every hose, every rubber component, everything replaced. Well, that's available.
But there's a few tasteful mods you've done, haven't you? Which you wouldn't tell by looking.
That's it. Yeah, I didn't want to change how the car looks because one of the things I love about them is how they look.
Yeah.
I wasn't really after, improving the performance or anything too wildly. But one major thing that when I got the car back on the road, I thought was lacking was the brakes. They worked fine, but compared to sort of a more modern car,
compared to a car that's got brakes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I looked into it, and someone had mentioned that maybe a Vauxhall caliper would fit, but although there wasn't much information out there. So I took a gamble and I bought a set, and sure enough, they bolt straight on. So I've got Vauxhall Vectra calipers on the front with Alfa 155 discs, much bigger discs. So you get much bigger brakes on the front, and then I changed the brake servo and master cylinder for one from a BMW E90.
So that doesn't bolt straight in, surely?
Almost. The bolt holes are the same. Everything fits apart from I had to modify the where it attaches onto the brake pedal very slightly. But it's almost a bolt-in fit.
Brilliant. After this, I think other people will be following what you're doing.
Yeah. Well, it was
copying,
a gamble, but
maybe you could patent the idea.
Yeah. Well, it's a cheap upgrade as well, because I think the brake servo and master cylinder was about 15 quid off eBay, and there's loads of them on there. The brake calipers are pretty cheap. The brakes are cheap. It's a cheap upgrade for anyone who wants better brakes.
And the pad surface is about twice.
Twice
the surface area, isn't it?
Yeah.
Excellent.
So it's well worth it. Worthwhile doing.
So this car used to belong to Graham Reed, who spends a lot of his time in Germany. Then it was Paul Hydes, who's here today. We'll catch up with him later. It went through me, then it went to Alan, and then to yourself.
Yes.
So
we've got a full history.
Full
of it
history.
Almost.
But it's yours for the foreseeable future.
A long time. I've got no plans on selling it.
We're not going to see it on eBay next month.
No. Hopefully in the next few weeks it's going to have a full respray because
excellent
paint's faded and peeling and whatever.
So make it look as good as it.
Yeah, and then the interior is already really nice, so it should be a nice car when it's done.
Excellent.
And, I love it. It's fantastic.
Yeah. Permanent 4.
Yeah.
On the road. So this is Paul Hyde Series 233, pre-facelift, non-power steering, carburetted engine, a different back end, so the early version of what you've already seen on the videos, and it's the only Series 2 here. It's nice to see it. Different back end, the lights and the spoiler are unique to the Series 2. So this is Gary Holman's track car, road legal racer, Series 2 car, but he's running a 160 horsepower 16 valve engine. He's got an Omex 500 setup which has just been mapped, a custom exhaust has just been done, 1/4 of an inch bigger bore all the way through, and he's very competitive. He races in the series, and it's been a car that he's been developing and progressing over the last 4 or 5 years. Only recently completed it, and he's done a beautiful job. So to compete in some more races, he's going to change from the 16 valve down to the 8 valve, which we've seen done before, which will give him the license to race in many different categories.